I'm pregnant! Oh my gosh, my loves. Oh, I'm so excited to share this news with you. Holy flippin' hell. I'm currently 5.5 months pregnant and I can't believe I'm making this video for you now. I thought it'd be so much earlier, but I have been so flippin' sick. So flippin' sick. Oh my gosh, the transition into motherhood. Whoa, it was not what I had manifested. Well, I manifested, the birth and it being beautiful and it's a home water birth and blah, 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 blah. I forgot to manifest the details of how I was going to feel and cope and process with everything. I totally skipped straight to the finale, but there's a 9 month process, which I'm currently over halfway through, which is kind of wild to say. Anyway, so I'm pregnant. I feel like we're having a little girl. When it hasn't been confirmed, we're not doing ultrasounds. I've been talking to my angels and they're giving me all these signs like boom, 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 boom. It's a girl, 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 which is kind of wild because in February 2019, so last year, my husband and I, we moved to Bali and we were like, oh my God, this is where we need to be, blah, 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 blah. No, it turned to absolute shit. But one of the beautiful things that happened while we were there is that I started communicating with our daughter. I don't know if it's her in my belly or her sister because I feel like I'm having 2 girls and a boy. So we'll see. I'll keep you posted. Anyway, so while we were in Bali, I was being able to talk to her. The way that I was able to like channel her was through journaling. I literally would journal in the morning and she would take over the pen and write as if she's writing back to me, which if you're not a spiritual soul, you're probably freaked out going, how the fuck is that possible? Let me tell you it's possible because there was a lot of things that she told me. Number one, she told me she chose me to be her mum because in her past life, she was a servant and was abused. And me being a childhood trauma healer, she thought that I would be the perfect mum to help her heal that karma. What? The other things that she told me is that she wanted a house by the sea with no scary bears. We live in Adelaide at the moment, in South Australia, literally walking distance to the ocean, but we're planning on moving because we need a bigger house to fit a bubba. And no scary bears was actually no toxic family, no toxic energy of any kind. Which is kind of wild. So she kind of helped us over the past year prepare. So there was things that I had to do, there was things that my husband had to do to become ready. And oh, I just heard that Alicia Keys song. If you ask me, I'm ready, I'm ready. Anyways, so there was a process of things that we had to do to get ourselves into alignment. Besides that, if I just go back even further, it took me a long time to become a vibrational match to my husband. And I made sure going into that partnership that I made the decision to choose him to love every single day. It's a decision I still make every single day. And I chose him because he's not only the most beautiful person I've ever met in the whole entire world. Oh, I'm getting emotional talking about him, good Lord. He's the most beautiful person that I have ever met in my whole entire life. And I knew that he would be the perfect, not only husband to me, but father to our beautiful children. And just seeing him with me now being a pregnant mama, it just like, oh my God. We keep that very, very private. I just like to keep that private so it's something that is sacred to us and I don't want to publicize it to the world. But I thought it was important to come on here and tell you that I'm pregnant and everything that I've been through from my side of the story. Anyways, so met my beautiful husband. Before that, been in toxic relationships, abusive, narcissistic, all of that, which stemmed from my childhood. Grew up in a narcissistic family, codependent parents, and all of that basically, blah, blah, blah. I broke the cycle of abuse, which is why I'm an international childhood trauma healer now. And so I broke that cycle, healed myself. I became a vibrational match to my husband. And we've created a miracle inside my belly and I literally can feel her kick, which is flipping wild. When you can see a little boom on your belly when you're laying down, you're like, oh my God, it really keeps you in the present moment. So there's been a lot that's happening. Broke the cycle of abuse, met my beautiful husband. We spoke to our daughter. I spoke to her in Bali, and then Peter, my husband, spoke to her when we were in Galway in Ireland last year as well. And he gave her a list of things to do. We both did the work, have continuously doing the work. And now I'm on this beautiful, magical journey of stepping into becoming a mum. Well, I feel like I am a mum, which is kind of weird I know some people are like, oh, you're not a mum until the baby's born. I'm like, dude, the shit that I've been through, I'm already claiming the title as a mama bear. So what happened is we conceived her around eclipse time. So eclipses, if you aren't up to date, are basically like karmic divine interventions from the universe putting you on the right path. It happens twice a year, about every 6 months. And this eclipse literally changed our lives. It also coincided with my granddaddy power period. Google that if you want to figure it out, if you're into astrology and you know your birthplace, your time and the date and all of that kind of stuff. And if you're watching this from Canada, thank you for telling me about this. I got pregnant during my granddaddy power period. It's basically 3 weeks of the year that's super magical, super heightened. I basically use that energy to harness creating our beautiful daughter. So that's what happened. Then I actually felt the moment when she had implanted into my uterus. It woke me up in the middle of the night. It was excruciating pain. I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna have the worst period ever because these cramps are just wild. And I was like, oh my gosh. And you know, if you look at what's been going on in the world in 2020, there's a lot of stuff that people are absorbing. And I was like, oh my gosh, being an empath, I probably absorbed all of that to myself. Anyways, so then that happened. And then basically I found out when I was about 5 weeks and 3 days. Oh, check out the footage from this. This is so crazy. Check it out. It's only about 10 seconds.
Okay, what's the date today? The 16th of June?
I think so, yeah.
It's the 16th of June today, and I just took this test, and as it says on this little thing here, if you have the second line, you're positive, and then I didn't believe it, and then I had one of these left over. And Holy Mother of God, I'm shocked.
So let me just tell you this story because I thought I'd be one of those people that'd be like filming my reaction. No, I forgot to tell you about this. I had been learning about charting my cycle. If you want to know more about that, I highly recommend you check out the book, Taking Charge of Your Fertility. I read that. I've been reading it on and off for years. And I don't know, I just felt this feeling that I knew she was getting closer. Another thing too, I forgot to tell you, is that before we left to go to Bali and to do our year of travel, I had a teddy bear that was given to me from my mother-in-law, and I had they're actually right here. These are mala beads that were sent to me from the Mala Collective. And I had these wrapped around the neck of the teddy bear, and I knew that this was going to be linked with my daughter because recently I had the matching set of this. I always used to see it if you've seen any of my videos, but it broke and I was like, oh, I must be getting closer to when she's coming. Anyways, so I got my mum to send me the bear, and then having the bear with the necklace on the bed, I'm like, oh my God, she's getting even closer. Anyways, this is all over the shop. So what else happened? So we literally charted one cycle, got pregnant on that first cycle, which we were kind of like, holy shit, which is kind of a miracle. But I knew she was meant to come because the day in which we conceived, I was like, there's no way in which that would have lined up with when I was ovulating. But because it was in the eclipse energy and my granddaddy power period, I feel like my angels worked their magic to be like, you are going to be pregnant this cycle. Anyways, so I was like, I'm 3 days late for my period, which is not like me at all. I'm always like 28 days like clockwork, like the mama moon. And when I didn't get it, I was like, oh, I'll just take a pregnancy test just to see. anyways, I take the test and I was like, what the fuck? I went out to Peter, I was like, I'm pregnant. And he's like, I said, I think I'm pregnant. And he's like, what? And we were kind of like in this daze, and I was like shocked. He came into the bathroom and he was like, what? Like, he just couldn't believe it. Because I don't know, you just hear so many horror stories of people struggling to get pregnant and going through IVF and having all of these different things. But then at the same time, I feel like I have been cleansing my body, my mind and soul since I got out of that toxic relationship in 2009, because that was the year I moved to London. That changed my whole life. And yeah, so that was just kind of amazing. I was like, holy shit, it worked. And then I'm like, Peter was a blubbering mess, and then I was kind of like laughing because it hadn't sunk in, and I was like, I'm not meant to feel like this, you know, I'm meant to be like, you know, like all these women do on their like announcement live pregnancy test things. And I didn't have any of the symptoms, which I thought at the time. Turns out I did. I was so tired, like going to bed at 7 o'clock. Anyways, there was a lot of things that happened. Holy hell. So let me fast forward to 6 weeks and 6 weeks and 5 days. That is when I started getting sick. And I mean, not just like a little bit sick. I'm talking so sick that I couldn't eat anything except oranges for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And it was so bad that I had to constantly keep eating them, even though I wasn't hungry, to make sure that I wasn't getting, because my nausea would just go off the flippin' chart. Peter would have oranges chopped up for me next to my bed, so whenever I'd wake up, I would just eat them. And the crazy thing is, as I remember waking up and literally just opening my eyes and feeling so sick. Like I didn't even move or anything, like feeling so sick. And I felt a little bit naive going into this pregnancy, because I felt like no one around me had told me about the first trimester and how fucking difficult it is, and how it literally bulldozes everything you know that you love, do. Everything that you love in your life is literally taken away. Everything from food. I didn't want to drink tea. I never drank tea for like 3 months in my pregnancy, which is wild if you've seen my tea cupboard on my Instagram stories. And it was just kind of wild. And the fact is, I was literally still coaching clients at the time. So the amount of tears that would go on in order to just get out of bed, because I was just so unwell. And I was so weak that I would have to sit down in the shower to just bathe myself. And then I'd have to like put my dressing gown on and like walk to the bedroom to get changed. And I was like, how the hell am I going to get through a 90-minute session with my client? And I would just pray. I would just pray for that hour and a half that I could make it through and find this energy. And it was like every time I had a client, I would pray. I'd be like, angels, please help me get through this. I'd be sipping water or juice throughout the call just to make sure I wasn't too sick. And I got to the place where those calls, it was like I got an instant boost to coaching Mel, the MKL, you know, version of myself. And it worked. And so for those calls, I was bawling my eyes out in my dressing gown on the floor of the shower, trying to just like get some energy to come up, let alone put a friggin' face of makeup on and be like, it's Mel, welcome to the coaching call, you know, but it worked. And I was so shocked by that. Anyways, I made it through with the clients that I had. I don't know how, it was literally a miracle. There can be miracles when you believe, which is so true. I'm a Mariah Carey and Whitney Houston fan if you're not up to date. So I'd pray that would work. And then when I finished up with that round of clients, I was like, nope, no more clients right now. I said to the angels, nope, do not send anyone in for a healing session to see if they're a good match for my program. I was like, no. I energetically shut down my calendar without actually shutting down my calendar, which is kind of cool when you think about it. And so I made it through that time. I was in bed for about a month. And then I was so sick and tired of being in bed that I had the energy to move to the couch. So I basically slept on the couch for another month. And that time was really challenging because I went through this thing of dips of depression. Actually, one dip of depression, which lasted for about 3 days. And I was so mad at my husband for being a male. I was so mad at it. I was like, I'm the woman. Why do I have to carry the baby? Why do I have to give up everything? And it really got to me. And I was really very low on the emotional guidance scale, to be honest. And I just wasn't happy. And I never felt excited to be pregnant until I was 13 weeks. I didn't feel any emotion. I was just so sick, and it was just really, really awful time. And another thing too, being pregnant, I get out of breath a lot. I'm doing really well today, so I must have prayed for my little miracle to record this video. And what else was there? So I got through the 13 weeks, then I had like a 2-day window where I felt good. So I called family. In that time, holy shit, talk about a mixed response. If you're somebody who suffered from childhood trauma, you would know that there will be unconscious family members, especially if you come from a narcissistic family, who will turn your good news and turn it into about them and it being a living hell. There was 3 encounters that I had, which was not nice, and it kind of didn't shock me because if you've dealt with narcissists before, you know how they work and you know how to communicate with them if you need to. And if anything, I was kind of like, how dare you talk to me like that and slander my news that I'm a pregnant mama and somehow turn it into about you and you. And I was like, you know what? Throat chakra blockage as I'm talking through this because I'm still pissed off. Not really pissed off with it now. I'm more removed myself from the situation, but it kind of baffles me that people like that exist in the world. And it's like, yeah, they may be your family, but they're not really people that I choose to associate with. Anyway, so that was really difficult. But then I also had some really amazing phone calls with reactions from people that I didn't expect and were just so beautiful. I was like, oh my God, like, thank you so much. So went through all of that. What else did I have written on the board? Blah, 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 blah. Oh yeah, so there was just a lot that went on with all of that. And then it got to the point where I started feeling better and I was like, oh my God, I could go outside now, because there was a long time where I couldn't literally go outside. I didn't have the energy to move, and it was just so difficult to just do anything. I get a lot of acid reflux now too, so my throat burns. Yeah, so basically it's been this huge flippin' roller coaster of emotions, so many things that I have been through, and I'm just grateful to now be excited to be pregnant and to want to be able to share this with you. And I actually did share this with some of my beautiful MK Love fam who are on my mailing list. Those of you who signed up for my free training, I emailed you, not everyone, but majority of you. And the responses I got back from you literally just blew me away. So many of you sent me personal emails to be like, oh my gosh, Mel, congratulations. I'm so excited for you and Peter. I was like, good Lord, this is so nice. So that's my news. I feel like I need to do a Q&A over on my Instagram because I feel like that's where I share the most behind the scenes. I don't know if YouTube is appropriate platform to be focusing on that, because this is really kind of more for helping people, you know, break the cycle of abuse and blah, 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 all that stuff to do with my business. So that's where I'm at. It's kind of amazing. It's kind of wild to be like, oh my gosh, like in February or March next year, I'm gonna be holding a baby. Oh my gosh, check out this photo right here. This was me last week at 21 weeks pregnant with my little belly. Oh my gosh, the other thing is clothing too. Everything that I owned was literally packed up in my packing cubes in the cupboard, and I've manifested a whole new wardrobe. Oh, and this outfit that I'm wearing, which you probably can't see, is like a tight fitting black dress with this kind of like kimono thing over the top of it. And I had it on my Pinterest board of like cute pregnancy clothes, blah, blah, blah. I literally manifested everything. What else has happened? We went on a holiday. I got to meet my niece. So many things have happened, and now it's like, holy shit. What am I going to do with my business? That's kind of where I'm at now. I've got literally 2 dates available for coaching. The first program literally starts the week beginning October the 19th, just after the new moon in Libra, which is very soon, depending on when you're watching this video. And then the next one is going to be in November. They're the last dates that I have available for coaching. And then I actually don't know when I'm going to open up again. I'll probably be taking like 6 months off being a mom. I have no idea. So if you are at the stage where you're like, Mel, I need your help. I'm ready to break I'm getting puffed. I'm at the stage where I'm ready to break my toxic relationship patterns and reclaim my power in 8 weeks, then check the link below or melaniekatelove.com. Everything is over on my website. So I'm kind of like, shit, I thought I would have had a video program made already, and it just hasn't happened yet. So there's been a lot of surrendering. Oh, one thing I forgot to tell you. Pregnancy has taught me the ultimate in surrender. You know, if you want to heal, you can choose when you want to heal, right? If it gets too hard, you can back away. When you're pregnant, you have no other option. There's no plan B. It's like, you're going to learn to surrender. This is like the biggest thing I've ever had to surrender to for my whole life. Surrendering me as a businesswoman. I said to the angels, take it away if I'm not meant to do this and I'm just meant to be a mom. Not just, because far out, that's a full-time job. To be a mom, I'm okay with that because I know that I'm destined to be a mom. Always have felt that in me. And I don't know, there's just a lot. I don't know how to explain it. Do you kind of get what I mean? There's just a lot that's involved, and you can't really choose when you want to surrender. It's like, now, this is the present moment, you will surrender now. So I'm interested to see like what happens as things get, you know, as the months go on, and like February and March is going to be here before we know it. Like, look how fast this year has gone already. Anyways, I've been speaking for 23 minutes. I just want to say thank you for being here. Thank you, my loves. Thank you for being so patient with me. And if you've followed me since 2013, good Lord, you get an extra hug. Anyways, my love, if you have any questions, please post them below. I'll be answering them over on my Instagram. Maybe next week, I'm not sure. We'll have to see how we go. Have an amazing day wherever you are in the world. Thank you for your love and support. I can't wait to read your comments, but I know that they're going to be beautiful. Have a lovely day, and I will see you soon. Bye.